Hi, everybody. This is Cassie. Oh, I'm moving my camera around. Sorry. This is Cassie on Crowd Chat. Today I have Laura Erwin on the show. She's going to be telling everybody about Potions Please and the marketing and stuff she's been doing about it and the game itself. I'm really excited about it because Potions is a thing. Is it this arm? Can you see? I have this little potion bottle tattoo. So Potion Bottles is my thing. And when I saw this game, I was like, oh man, this looks really cool. So I'm really excited to have you on the show. So do you want to start by just talking about Potions Please and what the game is about? And then I'll start asking all my questions I have for you.
Sure. Potions Please is a game that I came up with during a sort of self-imposed game jam where I gave myself a month type. And so I worked off the basic concept of Go Fish and how can I make it more interesting and fun. And so I reflection and I sort of developed it through art and design until I premiered it at a convention, like a small location. And so now it's this game, and it's a 2 to 4 player set collection game that's going to be available on the Game Crafter.
Are you nervous? Are you excited?
Yeah, I'm so excited. It's been really insane having to start marketing your game and having to start thinking about all these things down the line and like creating a website and really like turning it into sort of more of a business than it actually like, oh, I just made a thing.
I know what you mean. Yeah, I just did my first Kickstarter not too long ago. So it's like, oh man, here's a thing, and now it's a real thing. So I totally get it. I'm curious, what made you decide to do, like, how did you know if you wanted to do a Kickstarter or if you wanted to do a crowd sale? How did you decide to end up going with the crowd sale route?
So when I was thinking about Potions Please, I was trying to come up with what was my objective for what I wanted this game to be. And I wanted to be able to show that I can make a viable product that is like good quality, that I can do the art for it, and that I can make a mechanically working game, because this is my first game I've ever made. And then crowd sale and Game Crafter is a great way to like not have a ton of risk and have a small scale, but get to experience what it is to do all of the game design and marketing and all of that, but without a ton of risk.
No, I like that. That's definitely a thing that I have been like a supporter of with crowd sales, because like you said, you don't, with Kickstarter, if you don't make the goal, then that's it. But with crowd sales, it's like you can just sell a couple if that's what you bring in, or you can sell, hundreds if that's what you bring in. So it's nice that there's like this range that you can get to make it, I guess, successful. So yeah.
Yeah, and it's really about like building credibility of that you can make something and produce something from start to finish.
Yeah, definitely. And especially, so you're the illustrator and the designer and the publisher and everything with the game?
Yes.
That's great. I did.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I didn't realize you were the illustrator too.
Yeah, I went to fashion school. I work at a costume company, so Halloween is sort of my thing, and I just love drawing potion bottles in my sketchbook, and so it kind of came from that, just drawing a bunch of potion bottles.
That's pretty cool. I'm totally into the theme. That's fun. I'm going to have to ask after the show. I'm going to have to ask you to show me some of those potion bottles if you want to, because I'm totally into it.
Yeah.
So what preparations have you made so far for a crowd sale? Because I know sometimes it's a little different with Kickstarter and crowd sale, but you're still bringing in a crowd, and it still matters, how you find people. So what kind of things have you done so far to get the people to find Potions Please?
Well, when I first started thinking about a crowd sale, I was like, oh, I can just do it in a month and it'll be fine. And then the way that Game Crafter works is you have to put in for a date. And actually, it was the biggest blessing having my date be pushed back to October 17th, because it gave me 2 to 3 months to send out my games to reviewers, which they need around 2 to 3 months to review a game. I was able to go to a convention, and I got 90 people to playtest my game over the weekend. I was like, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., I was just like packed my table, and I was able to get a lot of feedback for final edits I made to my game. So I edited that in the Game Crafter, so that way anything they said I could refix, and it was like a nice last minute check. And then I also got a bunch of feedback from people about the target market and who was really attracted to my game.
That's really great. So you got a lot of in-person experience with the game then having to do it? Because a lot of people just don't get that opportunity. Did you have to go to conventions to get this, or was it like it kind of came to you?
Well, I've been volunteering at the Long Island Retro Gaming Expo for the past 3 or 4 years.
Oh, that's cool.
And so they have like a tabletop section. And this year I was like, hey, can I just set up my game and demo it all day long? And they were like, so they really pushed it and it was really great.
That's really cool. So it looks like volunteering definitely helps.
Yes.
And getting your game in front of people's faces is something that I think people are afraid to do, but it seems to be so important because, like you said, you can get feedback. And I'm curious what everyone said about what your target market is. Is that how you kind of helped to develop who really is your target market by feedback and playtesting?
Yeah, it was really interesting. So during the first month and a half, I developed the prototype. I took it to a local library convention that was a gaming convention.
Oh, okay.
And I had a bunch of people play test the original prototype. And I was seeing what age range could play. And I saw a 6-year-old and she was playing it. And I was like, wow. So even a game. And so I was like, okay. And then I was thinking, who's really being attracted? Really the hobby gamer market of the classic gamer market, but it was more families and girls. And I actually met a woman who he identifies as a witch. She's a witch. And so she was like, I was really worried about your game. And then I like played it and you're actually like really cool about it. And I was like, it was very and kind of clear through all the targeting stuff about what people thought was appropriate and what was good for the age range.
That's a great way to do it, to start by like and you started from the first prototype. So that's like, you got a lot of time to start incorporating all of the feedback into what you were making. That's a great way to start.
And it took about like a year. It took about till July after that. So it took me 6 months later, but I was able to get that really initial feedback really quickly.
Well, that's great. I mean, that's 6 months. If you think about some games, it takes years and years to get these games made. So that's great that you're able to get it in front of people and get that feedback. And like you said, with the Game Crafter, you can incorporate everything in really quickly. So I think that's pretty helpful, for someone especially if you're deciding to do a crowd sale. You don't have to do a lot of changes. Everything's kind of incorporated into this one system. So I think that just worked out really well.
Yeah.
Let's see. I wanted to know, what kind of like resources have you used? Did you already know about like the Game Crafter before you, how did you learn about the Game Crafter? And then have you used any books or any, online journals or podcasts, anything to learn about how to get your word out about the game?
Well, I originally started with a huge deck builder that was I started designing a deck builder. And it was a huge mistake because creating anything with 400 cards is a huge mistake. But I took it to a local game design group and I had them play it and they were really nice about it. And then after 6 months of me play testing with them, I decided to go back to like the roots and like bare bones and try something a little bit simpler and not 400 cards. And I looked at what GameCraft my friend suggested, Zach, who made the game Lots. And so, yes, that's on Kickstarter. He suggested I do Game Crafter, and then my other friend said that he's been published by a lot of publishing companies, and he's like, my first game ever was published on Game Crafter, so it's like a good thing to do, and there's like you don't have to go to a publisher first, and you can just learn the ropes.
Yeah, definitely.
So they were really invaluable. My boyfriend got me the white box.
Oh yeah.
And it was so inspirational. It was just a nice boost to get me into game design and to give all the components, and that book was really helpful. And then I listened to the Board Game Design Lab podcast, and that is amazing. It really went through I didn't really consider myself that much of an in-depth gamer. I could name some games, and I'm like, I love this game and this game, but I'm like, it works. Oh, this is who made that game. I had no idea.
That's pretty neat. So I actually don't listen to too many podcasts, but I know about that one. And I have heard from a lot of people actually that it's a very helpful podcast for learning about not just, learning who people are, but also being able to learn about new mechanics or learn how mechanics are developed. Or sometimes if you get stuck with something and you just listen to a podcast that's something like that, where it's about design, especially, and with designers, you get, I don't know, sometimes it just sparks something in your mind. So I think that's really great. And I totally support listening to all the design podcasts.
Yeah, I love like finding them, and they're great to have on at work. So it's just like you get all that design training in while you're like doing other things.
Mm-hmm. Totally. Like you can listen and drive and stuff. I'm totally a big supporter of it. So right now, what are you doing for marketing? Because it comes to crowd sale, I think October 17.
Yes.
Okay. And that's going to be the first time it's been published. It hasn't been available before. I saw it was maybe it had an earlier date, but now it has the new October 17 date, right?
Yeah, it was for October 17th. I did make it available because some people really wanted to buy the game even before the crowd sale.
Oh, okay.
So I published it beforehand because they're like, no, I'll pay the full price. And I was like, okay.
Hey, that works.
Cool. It's fine. Sure. They're like, I really want it now for Halloween. And so I was like, okay, yeah, sure. And so I published it on there. But for the marketing of Potions, Please, I have a newsletter that I got from the convention, which has around 45 people on it.
Oh, okay, that's great.
And so I send out weekly or bi-weekly messages to them and showcase that. And then because of the 2 to 3 month lead up that I had with the crowd sale, I was able to send it to reviewers, and I should be getting some of the board game mechanics just did which was really great. And I reached out to a podcast called the Indie Board Game Designer Podcast.
Oh, yeah, I know about that one.
And so that is going to launch October 15th. He's going to help like put his social media channels and then also premiere my episode about my game.
That's excellent. So I know that reaching out to reviewers and podcasters is great. So that's awesome. I'm like really excited to hear about what everyone has to say about your game, and it can be a little nerve-wracking. I'm kind of in that same place where I made a game and I have someone that's publishing it, and people are starting to play it, and I'm like, oh man, people are playing my game. So I'm excited for you, and I think that's really great that you've utilized all these different like I guess medias is the right word, like podcasters and interviewers and reviewers, all that jazz.
Yeah, and I'm bookending my crowd sale with a convention in the beginning of the crowd sale and a convention at the end of the crowd sale. I'll be taking pre-orders.
Oh, okay.
So I'm doing 2 library conventions within the week, so that way I can just kind of like grab them in the beginning and the end.
That's actually a great idea, to have it and to be in front of people while you're running it live. So that way, if someone wants to get it, and what's nice too about the crowd sale is it doesn't take months and months and months for something to be produced. So if someone does want to get it right away, like you said, they're not going to wait very long. And I think that's pretty cool. And it's totally in theme with like October.
Yeah, I planned everything around like Halloween.
Yeah, I was wearing a spider bracelet earlier. It was, I'm ready. Let's see. So we kind of know your target market, and I know how you determine the target market. Are you doing anything to like specific, like, are you going to do like any Facebook ads or any like Instagram or anything that's going to be like specifically targeted to your target market?
I'm going to try Facebook ads during the crowd sale for the week. I don't know how it will do, but I've never made a Facebook ad before, so I really want to take it as a time to just experiment and try to learn and sort of kind of figure it out where there's not like, I don't put too much money in, it's not too much risk, and I've already built a group, so it's just kind of pulling in some more people.
Yeah, definitely. And do you have anything that you're going to do after the campaign is done to get people? Are you going to keep it? Well, I guess the first question is, are you going to have the game available on the Game Crafter for purchase after the crowd sale?
Yes, I am going to have it available on there. And then I have a couple more conventions that I'm going to go to. And then I just will have some copies to sell. And I actually am combining it with a book series. Ooh. So that way when you even though there's only one game, like every couple months, a book series will come out of when the crowd sale launches, I'm going to have these books to sell, activity books for kids. So it gives backstories of all the witches and potions.
That's pretty fun.
And it has paper dolls and all of that stuff. And I get to kind of like build that up into maybe it becomes an expansion one day where I add like mechanics in, but like I get to keep the momentum going with some books, and I have pins coming, so I have like merch surrounding it.
That's so exciting. Well, I like that you have this plan of what you want to do after the fact already in set. And I think that's just really exciting. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with the crowd sale and what happens after the crowd sale, because it's still going to be available. People can still play it, and it's going to be like perfectly Halloween themed. So that's going to be really cool. Well, those were like all the questions I had for you. We kind of touched on everything you're doing for now and what you're doing in the future. Did you have anything you wanted to bring up about Potions, Please? And actually, before we go, I want to let everyone see. I'm going to switch over to the website real quick. This is the Potions, Please crowd sale page. So if anyone wants to take a look at it, you can take a look at it now, but the crowd sale won't be launching. You can see right here, it says October 17. So there's information there, though, right now, if you want to take a look at it and learn more about the game. And so is there anything else about the game and about your crowd sale marketing, anything you want to bring up before I let you go today?
I guess if you want to be included in my mailing list, I have a link on my website of ledesignandgames.com, as well as a Facebook page, Laura Erwin Design and Games, and an Instagram account. So I will have updates about the game, and I did like a trailer video, and I want to make maybe more videos about how I designed the game more specifically and how I did the art for it, because I don't find a ton of like tabletop art videos on YouTube. So I might want to start kind of showing that process of how I designed it for the Game Crafter.
I think that would be really cool, actually. And I think it would be helpful, too, because you're talking about how it would be like how you made it for the Game Crafter and, like just like the steps you took. I think just like showcasing the art and everything that you've done, I think it would be really cool because you've had your hands in every aspect of the game. So, and that's a rarity, I think. Not often is the designer also the illustrator and also the publisher. So I think you would have a lot to say about your process.
Yeah.
Cool. And I'm sorry, how did you spell your the website so people could sign up again?
It's LE, designandgames.com.
Oh, okay. Cool. Excellent. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. I really appreciate you talking about the game. I'm excited about the theme, and I want to mention to everybody that some of the things we talked about were showcasing your game in front of people, getting a lot of feedback, getting that feedback from the first prototype. Seems like it's been really helpful for you, especially with figuring out who your target market is. And giving your opportunity to mold the product for your target market. And listening to design podcasts also helps. So that's it for Crowd Chat. Next week, I'm going to be having Dan from Letterman Games on the show. They just did a fantastic campaign for Adventure Tactics that did over 100,000, and they're going to talk about their marketing and all that jazz. And it'll be at the same time, 7 p.m. Eastern. And I'm going to, on the YouTube, live streams on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, I think LinkedIn, and maybe some other places. But I'm going to, on YouTube, link to Laura's website. So if you want to check out more about the Potions, Please, and to sign up for her emails, you'll be able to do that. All right. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for being on the show. So that's it for today, everybody. Thanks for watching Crowd Chat. I am Cassie, and Laura, thank you again for being on the show, and good luck with the game.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great night. Bye.